Okay, the time is 6 o'clock and we're beginning the September 10th Granite Falls School Board meeting is now in session. In attendance, or actually, excuse me, please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'm going to hand it over to Superintendent Geisland for our land acknowledgement.
Director Ledoux. We honor the first peoples of these lands by acknowledging that the area in which we gather is within the traditional territory of the Stillaguamish tribe of Indians. The Stillaguamish people have inhabited these lands and waters since time immemorial, and their descendants have remained in this territory to this day. The Stillaguamish people have continued to practice the traditional ways of their ancestors of fishing, hunting, and gathering. The Stillaguamish tribe has had these lands and cultural traditions passed on to them by their ancestors who believed that everything has a spirit and that they are the caretakers of these lands and waters.
Okay, so roll call in attendance tonight. We have Director Dane, Director Kincaid, Director Carey, myself, Director Ledoux, and Superintendent Geisland. I'd like to make a motion that we excuse Director Gochner tonight.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, item 3A, board comments. Start down at Director Dane.
Don't have much, but I really appreciate going by the schools and seeing all of the kids in school. And we're so far had a safe transport in and out of all the schools. Little incidents here or there, but we're getting there. I got to attend the barbecue here at Crossroads this week as they're opening, and just saw an amazing turnout of family and friends there. So I'm excited for this year. I think it's going to be great.
Perfect. Thank you. Director Kincaid.
Yeah, so today's been a little bit of a tough day, and so I kind of wrote down the words I had to say. It's short, so bear with me for a moment. But I just wanted to say, in light of the assassination of Charlie Kirk today, and as we reflect on the anniversary of 9/11 tomorrow, I want to take a moment to speak about unity. Charlie was a bold voice who cared deeply about this country and about the values he believed in. And whether people agreed with him or not, there's no denying the passion and commitment that he brought to his work and his losses felt by many. And September 11th reminds us of the strength that comes when people of all walks of life join hands to support one another. The loss of any life, whether it's a public figure or a neighbor, should stir us to live with compassion and grace towards each other. In our schools, our children are watching how we respond to division or to moments of shared grief. We have a chance. This is our chance to model kindness, understanding, and resilience. Now more than ever, we need to be intentional about building bridges, setting aside differences, and working for the good of the next generation. So let us honor both the memory of the lives lost and the lessons of history by choosing unity over division.
Carey.
Yeah, following in the vein of Director Kincaid writing something down, I also had some comments I wanted to give first. And it's a little bit longer, so I can't promise it's going to be brief, but just for an introduction standpoint, again, my name is Carl Carey. I'm one of the 5 school board directors. We essentially have one employee. It's our superintendent. And so our role essentially is to fiscally manage the school district, give the superintendent direction. We always say that we're in charge of the what and she's in charge of the how, but this is really my only opportunity to kind of speak to not only the board, but to the public. So I wanted to take a moment and speak about from the heart about the recent Facebook comments related to Crossroads. I'm choosing to speak now, like I said, because later on in the program, we aren't able to have a two-way conversation, because I know there's some people here today that plan on speak on this topic later in the agenda. I've served on the board for a long time. Crossroads is actually one of the reasons I wanted to get involved. I had a great relationship with Jim and Robin Barth and got involved with some of the programs early on. I've led some, if you really knew me and Step Across the Line programs at Crossroads. I've had 2 people who I consider family attend that school, one of which sadly lost his life before the chance to graduate. I want to read the snippet from the Facebook post just so that I can respond publicly. I just want to be as transparent as I've always tried to be, and speak in front of leadership of the district. But a snippet from the post says, if you have painted a ceiling tile, a mural, or any other art project done at Crossroads, the superintendent is painting over everything and taking it all down to ruin Crossroads history and everything it stands for. She is turning the school into a prison and non-joyful. They have had teachers take home all their comfy personal furniture, decorative things, etc., things to make the school feel like home because it's not traditionally her way of school should be seen. She's ruining Crossroads and dragging it into the ground. Anything that wasn't her idea or what she's done is being taken away and disrespected. So, everything essentially in that statement is either untrue or it lacks context or understanding. But I think the thing that breaks my heart the most, and it goes right to the heart of what Crossroads is for. It's that thing where something is said, that thing that is said becomes everyone's truth. And then that false truth shapes everyone's negative opinion about everything and about that person moving forward without rightfully giving them the chance to have feedback or to respond and to clear those truths. So let me just be clear. Neither the superintendent, the board, the executive team, anyone is given any directive to remove or paint or any murals or ceiling tiles at Crossroads. And I can't imagine a situation where we would. There is no goal to ruin Crossroads, drag it to the ground, disrespect its legacy. If you really knew me, you would know that my reasons for sitting in this chair for as long as I did, and I know this is true of the superintendent as well, is because I want to do every day the best for this community and the best for the students that we serve. There are no monsters hiding under the bed. There's no ulterior motives. No one in this room has to live their life the way I do, but one of the edicts that I always maintain is a personal commitment to seek understanding first before jumping to conclusions and to always assume positive intent in the decisions made by others. So we owe to each other to base our opinions on facts and general dialogue, not just rumors. So let's talk about what's true. Yes, the student population at Crossroads has declined, but that's not because of anything the board or superintendent has done. Lake Stevens is opening its own alternative high school and ending their longstanding partnership with us. Fewer students, less funding. It's kind of the short and skinny of it, but has nothing to do with the leadership of Crossroads or the district or a plan to close. That reduction of size doesn't mean, again, that that there's any plan to close it. Yes, Crossroads has a new leader is bringing their own vision to the school, but doesn't mean the history or wonderful culture of Crossroads is being erased. Change isn't always easy, but it doesn't have to mean loss. It could actually mean growth most of the time. Those are the facts. I wanted to state them here tonight on the record in public with all of you guys looking at me, right? So that you know and you felt from my heart what is the truth here, right? It breaks my heart when we all tear each other apart on Facebook. So here's my hope, here's my prayer, here's where I hope that everyone in this room walks out and does after they leave this, is channel the energy that you guys have right now and the love for Crossroads that I share and that everyone here shares into supporting the students and the staff of Crossroads to ensure that the experience that the students and the staff have there is exactly equal to the experience and the love that you had when you went to Crossroads. Moving forward, if there's any concerns about the district, I plead that you direct them to the superintendent and give her the opportunity to respond. And after that, if you still have concerns, come to the board. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I've literally, in the 10 years I've been on the board, I've never not responded to an email. I've never not responded to a call. I've never not responded to someone asking me to have coffee to talk to about something. And that's not going to stop until the day I'm here. Also, remember, the superintendent is responsible for how things are implemented, but we as the board determine what that direction is. And I know this is an understatement, but I just feel like a lot of the comments and the dialogue that I saw online is just really unfair for, again, someone who's here like the rest of us to do the absolute best we can for the people in this community. So closing, I agree with everyone. The Crossroads is a truly special place that needs to be loved and maintained, and the legacy of students needs to be not only cherished, but I think celebrated. We are a family, and like any family, we need to stick together, listen to one another, and build each other up. Those are my comments.
Appreciate it, Director Carey. On my side, I'm definitely I'm much more of a question asker. So I do also encourage anybody after the public comment period. I know that we have business afterwards as well, but I would love to sit and talk afterwards as well. So I'll leave it there. And then in terms of like on a WIA or just even, going into a more joyful thing, yet also a reminder that we are in a small division school district. I picked up my son after the football game at the high school at 12:30 on Saturday morning, after they went up in 147-0, mind you, up in East Jefferson. And then Sultan is at home this weekend. So, I'm sure that stadium is going to be packed. Let's, go root them on and go have some fun out there. And that's just a reminder, though, not just football, but all sports teams. Our kids do not travel short distances for games. It is not, there's concrete. There's, I think in a few weeks, there's Friday Harbor. I think in a few weeks there's up in Blaine. It's just, so God bless the kids for making those travels, but then also the bus drivers, for dealing through all that stuff as well. So I'm just so grateful for the small but growing community that we have and the amount of effort that's put in and the level of effort that, these students really have, the passion that they do to play these sports and to go to these lengths to do these things. So that's just kind of it from my side. So we'll go ahead and move on to item 4A, Superintendent Report presented by Superintendent Giesland.
Thank you, Director Ledoux. I think it's going to be up on the screen here in a moment. Thanks, Corey. Well, these are just some pictures from our welcome back, pretty much from every building. It is crazy when you see the class of 2038. That's our kindergartners. Seems like a really long ways away, but they are adorable and they are making it happen. Do note Mr. Maynard's first day outfit of orange sequins.
That was the talk of the
That
town.
was, wow, that was
amazing.
Something. Some really fun things. We had the back to school barbecue, like Dr. James said, last Friday at Crossroads, and it was good to see all of our kiddos back. So we have all of our kids back. We have preschool and Crossroads started this week. The rest of our buildings started last week. That bottom left is all of the freshmen on the first day coming in, and they had a first day, half day, and some of that orientation at Granite Falls High School. And I love the picture in the middle. It's Chief Dalton was there to greet kids at Granite Falls High School on the first day. And of course, Mr. B greeting every kid at the door. So we really talked a lot about threshold greetings and how important they are. The research is very, very clear that threshold greetings matter and welcoming our kids in. And then I got to attend an assembly at Monte Cristo Elementary was that on yesterday? Tuesday. Yeah, it's just yesterday. It feels like a little longer ago. And I walked into the building and it was silent. The kids were walking in so quietly, so wonderfully. I was like, are there kids here? Like, are they all outside? What's happening? But just so kind and so respectful and really learning to hold their applause when they were super excited when their favorite staff member was introduced. So thank you to everyone who made such a great first week back. When my oldest, moved out and went to college, I always said that there was a different level of quiet in our house, and that was hard. And it's the same thing in a school district. When the kids are gone, there's a level of quiet that's not right. And so when they're back, then the level is right. Yeah, and I'm looking at JVJ back there. I bet the level's right at the middle school too, right? Yeah. So welcome back, everyone. What a great first week. All right, next slide. Sorry. So a little safety and security update. Director Carey had told me when I was first in the seat, he was like, gosh, could we have a safety and security just to focus on that at every board meeting, just a little bit to talk about the things that we're doing to make sure that we are really paying close attention to this in our system. So tonight I wanted to talk about, we did a panic button test at all of our buildings. And there's some legislation around this too, that just says you need to have this in your buildings, but you also need to test it and make sure that it works. And so on the day before school started, we did that. And thank you, Marshall and Chief Dalton, for all of your work on this. Basically went building to building to building to make sure that it notifies and does the things it needs to do. So all the buttons triggered a lockdown and alerted law enforcement. What went well? They worked. It locked the exterior doors and disabled the badge readers and those kind of things. The one area that we need to improve is the order in which it calls people, because the first person, we don't want the director of business and operations to be the first person called in a panic. While we think Marshall does a great job, that is not the person we want responding. We want 911 called if the panic button is pushed. So that's one thing. And then the other piece, and lots of details I'll go over in more detail when I meet with the board members one-on-one, but is really then letting us know through the RAVE app, which most of us have, administrators for sure have, about when 911 is called and the response to that. There's nothing more important than we do than ensure the safety and security in our buildings. Everything else is secondary. So this was one piece that we're doing. And then I guess a second quick piece is that we've implemented fully our visitor badging system for everyone and using state issued ID to get into our buildings. So thank you, Chief Belton, and thank you, Marshall, for running those tests. And thank you to all the building secretaries. Some are sitting right here for your help in that. I mean, you had to do it, right? And make sure that it works. And we appreciate that. Next slide. So a little photo. Oh, clicker. Oh, thank you. We'll focus on student voice. We talk a lot about student voice, and these are some of the opportunities that we have this school year. We have our student representatives to the board, and they will be here at our next board meeting to be sworn in. Kids applied. We changed our board policy around that. Before, it was just the vice presidents at both Crossroads and Granite Falls High School who almost like by default were the student reps to the board. And most districts have moved to other kids. Anybody who wants to apply to do that can do so. And so we have 13 student reps to the board, 2 that are seniors that'll be at every board meeting, and then on a rotating basis. It is such an opportunity for them to work with me, to learn what it means to be a student rep on the board, how their voice is heard. They will sit up here with us. They will give comments. They will give out, when we have the comments at the beginning, they will have an opportunity to share how it's going for them. They're a nice way for us we can run board policies through them and all of those things. It's a way for them to step into a leadership role. It's also a way for them to give feedback to the board and the community and to bring their experience to our board and to me. So we're excited to start that, and that will be after the next board meeting. In October, I'm checking on dates with high school leadership. I believe it's going to be October 29th. We had a board director forum, kind of a practice run in June for all of the members of our community who are running the school board. Our students wrote the questions and had the questions and asked the questions of the candidates for school board. And then we'll have that again in October before the general election. Our students will, like I said, they will sit in front of all of our school board members and the school board members who will be coming on, and they will have an opportunity to hear from them and ask questions and get feedback. And that's another role of the advisors or the student reps to the board. Tiger Cabinet, the applications for that will go out on September 22nd. We have students from last year that were on Tiger Cabinet that now are going to be the facilitators. There's 4 of them. They are 2 seniors, a junior, and a sophomore. And they're going to take a little roadshow and go to the high school or to the middle school and to Monte Cristo and probably stop by Crossroads, but I'll talk to the Crossroads students as well, or to talk to the Crossroads staff about what Tiger Cabinet is. Last year, we had 54 students in grades 3 through 12 from across the system who came about once a month and gave us feedback on what was working, what wasn't working, those kind of things. Again, student voice. In May, they met with legislators and county reps to talk to them. So they got to meet with 2 state representatives and a state senator and ask them questions. We've talked about it a little bit here, but I know there's a lot more people in attendance tonight. I would encourage anyone in the system that's in grades 3 through 12 to apply to be on Tiger Cabinet. It is an excellent opportunity to work with students from a variety of schools and grade levels, and also to give some feedback, and you'll probably learn some things too. So we will start that, I believe, on the 22nd. I think we have the applications ready to go, and Paris will put them on our website. We'll have QR codes, those kind of things. And so we'll get that out. Next stuff. This is a quick update. It might be a little bit boring for everyone in the crowd, but I want to make sure the board knows these things. So there was a statewide superintendent meeting yesterday. Some updates on some federal actions and updates. There's a lot going on at the federal government level. a lot of dear colleague letters, executive orders, and those kind of things that we're paying close attention to because some of them impact our day-to-day operations. And so we got some of those updates. At the state level, there's some policy and legislative updates as well. There's grants and different things, and the people in the back row tend to submit most of those grants. Many of those were done over the summer. There's some legislative decisions and those kind of things we're paying close attention to. There's some equity funding opportunities. As we know, there's the Student and Parents Bill of Rights, and there's some resources on that kind of went back and forth in the courts, and now it's solid. So we have that, and we have direction on that. One point of interest is the cell phone policy resources that OSPI has put out. About 17 states in the country have passed legislation banning cell phones in schools, and Oregon being the most recent of those. Washington State hasn't gone there yet. I believe that almost every state will at some point. We have strong board policy on that. Our policy is off and away during instructional times. The research is very, very clear on devices and screen time for our kids and how it's changing our kids. We as a district are reading, I'll say as a district because we've bought so many copies, and every time we buy more copies, I have more staff members who ask to read it. Are reading Anxious Generation. If you are a parent in the crowd, I highly recommend that you access that resource. It is since 2013, the research is just really evident on the anxiety and depression and those kind of things for our kids. In talking to some of our students who were a student forum in front of our whole staff in the Granite Falls School District at our back to school, we had, I think it was 5 or 6 students who volunteered to answer some questions and talk with us. And one of the things that was really powerful was the students, and I talked to them a little bit before, and then we talked to them on stage, and they said, our whole life is on display. And I don't think adults realize that. Everything we do, if we do something that's, thank you for that head nod, you're like, yes, right? It's like everything could be recorded at any minute. And, I was a teenager a million years ago, and that was not the case, right? Like I probably did some not very smart things in high school, or when I slipped on a pickle and my whole school lunch flew all over everyone. Like I remember that distinctly, but I'm sure nobody else remembers. Like I can remember to this day, and the football player that I grabbed so I didn't totally fall, all of that. Embarrassing moment, yes. Does anybody have it on film? Absolutely not, right? But our teenagers are living a different environment than any of us grew up in, and I just think it's really relevant for us to pay really close attention to that. So the state has put out a survey. It's going to a national survey about what school districts are seeing, and when they're implementing policies that allow kids to put away their phone and just focus on the instruction, some great things happen. I'll get off of my soapbox on that for now. All right, next slide. At that meeting, we talked, of course, a lot about teaching and learning. The statewide assessment data has come out. There's some statewide trends in Washington State, specifically with the SBA. There's some large concerns about math, specifically middle school math. The scores have declined pretty significantly over the past few years. We, of course, have some COVID implications that are affecting that, but we pay attention to our Granite Falls scores, but it's also important to look statewide and where is it going well, and who's making incredible gains, and let's not reinvent the wheel. We know what works, and using those other districts as well. We have standards that we teach to in the state of Washington. Everything we do in the classroom should be aligned to a learning standard to that subject and grade level. Those learning standards are getting a review, and there's some timelines for when those standards will change. Those are all there. I won't bore you with that, starting with ELA. Updated student discipline rules in Washington State. Those have already been given to our administrators and our staff, and those were gone over at the School of Rock and some subsequent staff meetings. And then lastly, the school safety component, Alyssa's Law, has some requirements that they put into play. We meet those requirements in Granite Falls, and thank you to all of our staff who ensure that we meet those and have the plans necessary. Again, going back to first and foremost, we want to make sure our kids are safe. All right, teaching and learning, next slide. Emily, would you like to talk to us a little bit about that? Executive Director Moore will take the podium.
Puzzle.
Good
Good evening. So we have some celebrations and some things to notify the board of. We are first and foremost celebrating that every class at Grand Falls High School for agricultural science, construction, and culinary are full. That's great news. We also received word just a couple of days ago from Tanya that 5 Grand Falls High School students graduated with their Associate of Arts degree from Everett Community College. That's a huge celebration. And then, of course, I'll talk a little bit more in a minute about the ELA curriculum, but we now have adopted, guaranteed, and viable ELA curriculum for kindergarten through 12th grade. And that is really fabulous news. So a couple of nuts and bolts things around school funding. All of our end of the year reporting for categorical programs and grant funds has been completed. And just so the crowd knows, that needs to be completed. We need to be compliant with that so that we can release funds to fund the school year this year. So we've hit all of our marks in that area. Teaching and learning, we spent a lot of time last year really analyzing our funds usage and being really good stewards and really being frugal with our dollar. And we did end the year in the black. We continue to focus on how to work smarter with our dollar. And along with that, we spent the year last year doing a deep analysis of all of our technology and specifically software applications that we're purchasing to use with students in the instructional environment. We completed that in May, and there will be more to come on that, including the conversation about Google. I do want to spend a little bit of time talking about HMH and the ELA curriculum. I want to spend a second to say thank you very much to our 6th through 12th ELA pilot teachers who really burned the midnight oil last year, learning a new curriculum, spending some time in development. And thank you to them, to our curriculum instruction and assessment team, and thank you, school board, for allowing us to purchase those materials. So we now have in most hands, there's a little bit on back order, but we have materials in students' hands 6 through 12. And that's students in general education. It's also students who are in special education. It's not often, and Dana and Rachel can vouch for this, that we attend to curriculum for special education. And so we have that. We also adopted English 3D, which is a K-12 curriculum for our language learners. Those have been delivered and we are off and running. We are putting together and starting a robust professional learning calendar for our admin with this curriculum so that they can support it with their teachers and in the classrooms, and that spans K-12. Principal Losi is here. She'll be in because they received materials for 3rd through 5th for language learners, so she'll be learning about how that curriculum gets used by teachers so that she can support teachers in using that, and that will happen with all of our admin. And that's really important because it's very often that you get this curriculum and it's really shiny and new, and you unwrap it and you have a few months of professional learning and then it just kind of goes away. But our plan is to continue to nurture that implementation over time. And super happy to say that along with HMH training for admin, we were also able to bring in a specialist to come in and with Principal Losi and Principal Dela Cruz to work on our elementary ELA curriculum as well. So we are off and running in teaching and learning. And I wanted to share, next slide, please, Mr. Corey. Thank you so much. I was really blessed to support Crossroads High School for the last 4 months of the school year. And this picture is all over the website, these 2 pictures. And I really want you to look and see the celebration. And I have never been so amazed by a graduation ceremony. And I've been to a lot in 26 years. And the graduation ceremony at Crossroads specifically, I guess I'm a little bit biased right now, was really, really beautiful, and what a celebration. So just a couple of notes for the board. At Grand Falls High School, 119 students earned their diploma. Again, those 5 students with their AA degree. And we also had 112 students participate in summer graduation assistance. At Open Doors, we had 9 students who earned their GED, 2 that went on to get their diploma, and 6 more students who earned their diploma. And at Crossroads High School, 47 students earned their diploma, 17 students participated in summer graduation assistance. That completes my report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Some upcoming district and community events. I know that Director Ledoux mentioned football, but we have a lot going on right now in athletics and some community events. So volleyball, I was at their game last night, or the match last night. I was able to watch 2, and then I had to get home because my 2 Aussies had been in the garage for a lot of hours, and they weren't amused. But it was a really good match, and it was 1-1, and then they came back and they won. And so then I was like, oh man, I missed it. But super fun to watch all the girls doing their thing out there. Soccer is they are 2-1 in what I'm hearing is a rebuilding year, but seems like they're doing pretty well. They have another home game tomorrow. We have our first ever boys golf team, and they had a match yesterday, their first match, and they had 2 kids that in 9 holes scored under 50, which oof. I've golfed a little bit and I'm not very good. And so that's kind of impressive, actually. And so, if they do that again, they get to go to districts, which would be incredible. So, and thank you to all the volunteers for making that happen. Again, football, we have a black and blue game. I hope kids aren't black and blue after. With Sultan, the Black and Blue Bowl, this Friday night. I believe the game time is 7, but I could be wrong. Okay. And then some other events that are upcoming. We also have cross country. They just finished running at Granite Falls High School, a big meet, and we will be hosting a couple of other meets because we have an awesome cross country course, and we have the track, of course, and the whole setup there is really conducive. I was a cross country mom, and cross country parents, you earn your stripes because you have to run around and follow your kid, and so it's a lot of work. Granite Falls Middle School athletics practice started on Monday for the first season. So middle school has 4 seasons, and the first season started cross country, volleyball, and boys soccer, and then season 2 starts kind of mid-fall. And then some other upcoming events. Thank you, Corey. There's a list of things happening. There's good things happening in the systems. Something happening at every building if you want to attend. I got invited to skate night. I might have to pass on that one. I'm not much of a skater, but there's things going on across our system. Railroad Days is noteworthy. I know that it's such a cool event. My granddaughter was here last year. She was just barely 2 last year, and she keeps talking about the dancing horses and wants to come back. They live in Boise, and so now it's going to be this annual event for her to come. If the dancing horses aren't there, we're in real trouble. So I'm going to have to make something up. But so they'll be flying out again for that event. But such a cool parade, and I know our schools and bands have lots of things going on in the parade. So please attend that. And then lastly, I know that a couple of the board members kind of addressed this, but as public school educators, we feel passionately about our kids. We do this work because we care deeply about kids and families. And we have communications that are out there. It's we want to promote trust, not erode trust, and so it's so important to us. So, to Director Carey's point, we have not taken down tiles. Actually, there is one tile that was taken down in a preschool classroom and moved over to a Crossroads classroom. It was a tile that maybe we wouldn't have wanted to have in preschool. Other than that, murals haven't been painted over, tiles haven't been painted over, nor directed to be taken down. And Crossroads is not closing. We will always need an ALE. Districts do. I've worked in many, many districts, very small to very big. Sometimes ALE setting is ideal for students, and we feel passionately about that. In fact, there's some growth that needs to probably happen around some homeschool partnerships. We have 550 kids that opt out of our system, and we'd like to have many opportunities for kids to engage and be back at Granite Falls. So I just want the truth out there. If people have questions, I'm happy to answer those, and I know the board is as well. But social media can be kind of a beast, and it's hard to know what to believe. And so please reach out if you have those questions, and we're happy to talk with you.
Cool. Thank you very much.
You bet.
Moving on to item 4B, enrollment update, prepared by Marshall Cruz.
Nothing too exciting here. It's actually probably the most boring part of this whole thing because our enrollment came in. Wait to pop it up. Basically, right at budget. So we budgeted for 2194. We came in right at 2194.
Pretty good.
Boring. Crossroads is an estimate right now. Crossroads count day. Our count day for K-12 was Monday. Count day for Crossroads is tomorrow. So Crossroads, we think it's going to be 130 and 40, but it could be 120, 128 to 135. Special ed, there's only one tier of special ed now. So you'll see when we compare back to previous years of special ed, I was putting it all in tier one, but there's really not tiers anymore. The new funding model for special ed, all students are considered at the same level for funding. So this year, when that column starts going to the right, it'll all be in the tier one category, but it is tier one and tier two combined in previous years. Again, nothing too exciting here other than kindergarten. We've been talking about it all summer. We had a demographics report done. We had 5.5 years ago, we had really high birth rates starting, and we have this bubble of really high birth rates in our community that we thought should have generated. We budgeted conservatively, we always kind of do for enrollment. We thought we could have as many as 180 kindergartners this year based on the birth rates that happened 5 years ago. We have no idea why we have 142. So a lot of things, these kids were born right before the pandemic. They were raised during the pandemic. For better or for worse, politics became a big deal during and after the pandemic. Families were kind of relocating all over the place. Maybe people moved. We're working with the demographer again this year. And what we're going to do, our first priority, and I have a call with her tomorrow, to try and do a deep dive and figure out if we can find out a way to determine if these families moved or if they are delaying. So because sometimes if your student is 5, your child's 5, you may delay them a year to go to start kindergarten. So we want to kind of determine what's going on, because a lot of our growth projections are based on this bubble of really high birth rates. We have 4 years, last 5 years of birth rates are really high in our community, higher than they've ever been. So we would expect classes of 185, 190 kindergartners the next 4 or 5 years. And when they're a kindergartner, chances are they're going to rise through all of our grades here in Granite Falls. And that, with those projections, we were projecting maybe 3,000 students by 7 years from now. But we'll have to kind of reset that and focus on why those kindergarten numbers didn't come in where the birth rates say they should come in. Next slide, Corey. And just real quick, this is just broken down by school, but again, very close to budget at all schools. Crossroads, we were expecting a decline because of the Lake Stevens students not being here. Expecting another minor decline next year when the rest of the Lake Stevens kids don't come because they're going to build their own ALE school. And then kindergarten is just trying to figure out what happened with kindergarten.
Thank you.
Boring.
Thank you, Mark.
You were nothing but accurate. Pretty impressive. Okay, item 5A, items from the floor. Okay, so this part here, so I'll start off here. The Granite Falls School Board welcomes the opportunity to hear public comment and allows time for this purpose at each regular session meeting. So my understanding, we have three for public comment tonight. Bear with me, I'm going to read through something that we read through just so that everybody's on the same playing field here. And then once we get through there, then I can add a few more things and then we'll get started. Okay, so the public comment section of the agenda is an opportunity for people to address the school board. Since this is a business meeting of the Granite Falls School District Board of Directors, the purpose of public comments is for those interested to communicate with the board of directors about items on the agenda or specific work within the scope of the school district. This is not a time for the audience to address each other. People may submit public comments for a school board meeting either by reading their comments aloud in person or by submitting their comments in writing. The board reads all written comments, which are later attached to the meeting agenda and available to the public on the board docs website. If you are presenting your comment in person, 1, please begin by stating your name, your city of residence, relationship to the district, and the agenda item or school district topic you are addressing. 2, we request that if your comment consists wholly or partly of text verbatim from an article, an online post, an excerpt from a book, etc., you simply send us the link to the text and spend your comment time telling us how this information relates directly to district work. 3, please limit your comment to 3 minutes. If a comment becomes too lengthy, I may need to interrupt, and we'll try to keep you up to speed on like where you are in terms of timing. 4, please make your statement in a civil manner without disparaging, name calling, or otherwise targeting any one person or group in the district. Similarly, we ask everyone in the audience to show respect by listening quietly without talking or whispering to each other so that everyone can hear each comment. 5, the board does not typically act upon items brought forward during this portion of the meeting at this time, but may be followed up by the board, the superintendent, or the staff at a later time. And then finally, the board also accepts comments and questions at any time through email. We read each email we receive, and we appreciate the time and effort it takes for those who write them. And so then I will just, that's the end of that preamble there. I will just re-articulate what I said in board comments where, I don't know about other directors, but understanding that this isn't a back and forth session just because we have other continuing items here. I'll hang out afterwards as well too, because I love discourse. I love discussing and understanding and listening. But yeah, I just wanted to start off with that. So with that, who's our first?
Brittany Lehman.
Brittany Lehman.
Should I go up there or stay right here?
Oh, yeah, jump on up.
There's no microphone, but
I'm loud enough, it doesn't matter.
We know.
Thanks, Tom. All right, so my name is Brittany Lehman. Some of you may know me as the bank manager here in town, but first and foremost, I am the mother of a 16-year-old that attends Crossroads. And yes, I'm here because of the Facebook post, but not as an attack. I more so wanted to bring attention to some of the things that lead kids to Crossroads and maybe look at some of the issues that are leading kids to go to Crossroads versus staying at a traditional school. So my daughter transferred to Crossroads at the recommendation of the counselor at the high school because the high school wasn't somewhere that she excelled at. She struggled a lot with some of her teachers. She would ask for help. I would email asking for help, and we never received a response. I got exactly one response over the last year that she was there. And it was from a teacher that she actually was doing very well in the class. After going back and forth, the counselor was actually the one that suggested Crossroads might be a good fit for her. When she went to Crossroads, it was night and day. She looks forward to school. She knows that she is supported there. She has the resources she needs to get back on track. And she feels like she has a family there. The teachers are phenomenal. They check in with their students. They spend the time to get to know them. Not saying that the teachers at the high school don't, but in Crossroads, you can feel that energy. The fact that her check-in connect was reaching out for the couple weeks leading up to school, just to welcome her back, just to let us know like about the barbecue coming up, that he was there for her. And that makes a huge difference, especially for a kid that did not feel supported at the high school. On the other side of I can't talk. I definitely can't talk in public. So on the other side of that, I work in finance. I work at the bank. When I transferred back here in 2021, the thing that I noticed the most was how many kids between the ages of 18 and early 20s came in not knowing a single thing about finance. They didn't know how to balance a budget. They didn't know how to do a checkbook. They didn't know how to write a check. They didn't know how to endorse a check. They had no idea what credit was. So I reached out to the financial fitness teacher at the high school asking, how can we partner together? And her response was, that's not really something we focus on. And so my response back was, what does a financial fitness class focus on? And I never received a response. And that worried me because who do I get reached out to by the Crossroads teachers every year for asking them, or them asking me, come in, show my class something that's going to help them in the real life. Am I out of time?
Yes, we're just right there.
Okay.
No, you did a great job. Really, really appreciate you coming in.
Okay.
No, but really appreciate it. And like I said, if you want to hang out afterwards, I'm more than happy to dive in with you a little bit later as well.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay. And then next, who do we have?
Rhonda Messer.
Rhonda.
Hello.
Hello. I'm gonna
Um,
see if there's a way for me to put a timer closer to you so that I'm not like, I always feel bad interrupting.
I won't be able to too long, so.
Okay.
It's fine.
That's
We're
okay.
good. We're
That's
good.
okay. My name is Rhonda Messer. I'm a former Crossroads student. I graduated in 2018. Here I transferred in 2016, 2017. I had a whole thing written out. I'm just gonna kind of skip it. I just want to be up here and say that I support Crossroads in any way that I possibly can. I do apologize for any negative conflict that post could have caused. I was trying to be more direct, not reactive, if that makes sense. This place definitely means a lot to me and everybody else who has gone here, and especially our grade, which was a lot harder of a time with most of a lot of the students. So I just want to be up here in any positive way that I can and support everything that Crossroads has to offer and continue to offer. I guess regarding like the tree and everything, me and my husband painted that when we went to high school. If it's any sort of like an issue for students or staff to keep up on, I'm more than welcome to come and keep up on it myself. I just live a couple blocks away. So I would love to do that as well, if that helps, so.
We appreciate it. No, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, and then
Stephanie.
Stephanie.
If you don't mind, could you? Because so people see, sorry.
Have a companion.
Mostly Guapo, Haciaya, Stephanie Colty sees that, Capri sees that. My name is Stephanie and, sorry. And I have 4 daughters, 3 of them they go to the school. And I wanted to take a moment to see if you guys will recognize these days because it means a lot to us. So the news that I want to talk about is National Day of Remembrance. It's about the children who never came home from boarding schools, but it is also about those who did survive. My own grandma is a survivor. She just celebrated her 77th birthday. Her life and her strength and the fact that she's still here with us is the reason I can stand here today. Survivors like her carried the weight of those schools their whole lives, and their resilience is why our language, culture, and families are still alive. When we gather and wear orange shirts, we are saying every child matters and every survivor matters. Their stories are painful, but they are the truth. We do this because this is part of our healing and part of the reconciliation. Remembering and honoring survivors allows us to carry their stories forward and to make sure the next generation understands what happened. The second thing I want to bring up is recognizing Indigenous Peoples Day. This day is about honoring Native history, culture, and the ongoing contributions of Indigenous people in our communities. It is also about teaching our children to see that strength and resilience of Native people as part of the story of this country. And then recognizing Indigenous Peoples Day creates space for healing and respect. Thank you for listening.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much to everybody that came up and provided public comment. We really appreciate it. Okay, so now we will move along to item 6, unfinished, or 6A, unfinished business. 6A is second reading to adopt policy 1825, addressing school director violations. Any discussion?
I move that we accept the second reading to adopt policy 1825, addressing school director violations.
I second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now 7A, 2025-26 Basic Education Compliance District Survey. Discussion?
Is there any hot points there Dana, you just want to share? I read it and it seems like we're pretty well covered. I actually did. It's funny. I did notice that we don't, we marked on there, we don't offer financial fitness as a option as a class. So not responding to the comment, but it seems very pertinent.
Weird.
Maybe work on that. So is there any other discussion on that or topic?
Just one piece on that. Some of the new standards have financial fitness, and it's the first time Washington State has had financial fitness because I think it was statewide realized that that was an issue. So it was when you said that, I was like, there's new standards coming. This is so exciting. So yes, there are new standards coming with that. And we do have it as a CTE pathway within business. So it's, and we're going to hear more about that in a minute from Mr. JBJ. But I think it just shows that there's the core classes, the 4 years of ELA and those kind of things, and our emphasis on core curriculum and guaranteed and viable, and our kids, graduating to go lead choice-filled lives, whatever that might be, if that's going to work, if that's going to a trade, if that's going to college, whatever that is, that the skills and abilities they have when they leave us set them up for whatever successes are in the future. So this was mostly informative. It's a report we do each and every year, but wanted you to be aware of the minutes and the days. And remember, this year, we are not asking for the waiver. We're going to school 180 days for the first time, maybe in 5 years. I think before that, it's been 175 days. So more instructional minutes, more instructional days, so we can continue to work on the important work in the classroom.
So you don't need a motion on this. It's just information.
It's just information, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Any other discussion? No. Okay. Moving on to 7B, CTE plan approval by JVJ, CTE coordinator. Sorry, it's just easier to say your.
He goes by the
JVJ.
Okay, well, hello, everyone. Thank you for your time this evening. My name is Joshua Jensen, JBJ. I am the coordinator of career and technical education for the district, as well as a CTE teacher at Granite Falls Middle School. Presentation that we have tonight has a couple purposes. First, I'm officially introducing myself to the board as CTE coordinator. Last time I was here, I was speaking as a administrative intern for my capstone project. Here sitting in this role. My voice is a little gravelly. I've talked more in the last 3 days than I've talked in the last 3 months. I apologize for that. Back to school, teaching is a significant amount of strain on the vocal cords. Next slide here. My presentation tonight is really just a general update on the state of CTE. Thank you. It's also a program approval for our yearly Perkins grant application that we have to get through board policy and for our general grant work that we have to do. This is goals for the year as well. So what I'm focusing on as a department and some ways to measure progress towards the end of the year. So my hope is to return later in the year to be able to use this as a benchmark for what we're doing and how we're doing it within the district when it comes to career and technical education. Now, primary areas of focus for 25-26 school year for us within CTE. At the end of last school year, I presented the findings from our WASA review. Washington Association of School Administrators looked at career and technical education in the district and gave us a list of findings and things that we needed to address. Based on that information, the work we completed last year that Candace worked on when she was leading CTE, and now I'm working on this year, these are the following areas where we are focusing our efforts this year. First and foremost is supporting and stabilizing CTE. We've had a lot of changes across programs and across the district and all of our buildings with our CTE program. So we are working to support and stabilize those programs to strengthen them as we go. Supporting new CTE teachers. We have teachers in new roles. We have teachers in new buildings. We have teachers that have changed what they do. So supporting them as things change. Navigating program changes. As programs have changed, that affects a lot of things from what we enroll students in classes to what we offer to how we work on those systems. So we're working on that. As we dig in, updating and improving our systems of how we facilitate CTE within the district. The real interesting stuff, compliance with OSPI standards, the Washington Administrative Code and the Revised Code of Washington, all of which have significant bearing on how we facilitate and run CTE classes within the district. We are forming a CTE Student Advisory Committee, so incorporating student voice into our CTE programs. We have industry representation, we have industry representatives that serve and advise our programs. We are starting a student advisory as well to incorporate that into our programs. And then improved communication internally and externally, so how we communicate with our staff, but also how we communicate with the community as well. There's a lot of really great stuff happening in CTE that we'll be highlighting throughout the year. And as programs grow and expand, we are working to highlight that in the right way. This work that you see up here is not particularly glamorous or exciting, but it is very necessary for the long-term health of the program, as we're looking for what CTE looks like 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, casting vision. My job this year, I'm spending a lot of time learning, getting familiar with the nuts and the bolts of CTE. So I've seen it from a 30,000-foot view, getting in and understanding that very specifically. I'm doing all I can to ensure that we're running strong programs that benefit students and our community. Some grant updates from 24-25 school year. Last year, we received a lot of funding through different grants for our construction program. That's where the money was last year. It's just where it kind of happened. There was lots of opportunities for funding. We wrote and applied for every single grant that we could, and we received a lot of funding for our construction program, which is a big part of the reason we were able to expand that program to a full-time teacher this year. You can kind of see up there where we did. Some of those are private donations that we received, but most of them are OSPI grants that we applied for. 25-26 is a little less rosy when it comes to grants for CTE. There is one currently available, which we are going to apply for. It's a grant to purchase and install CTE equipment and expand career-connected learning and work-integrated learning opportunities. So we'll apply for that and see how we can work on that. Getting into pathways and course offerings. So this is going to cover all three of our schools. So middle school is going to look a little different than Crossroads and high school, but in looking what we offer, this is the state of what we offer in each building. This is a work in progress as we continue to work and strengthen pathways and ensure that our programs have a natural progression from a middle school student all the way through 12th grade. A marker of high quality CTE is that we have a rigorous progression of courses from start to finish, that we have a big funnel that kids start in and they slowly progress and specialize as they learn. So we're working on that. At the middle school, you can kind of see we're focused in business and marketing. We have some coding classes, student stores being brought into career technical education, which is a significant change for us. Digital design, skilled and technical trades, which is what I teach, which is fabrication, design 1 and 2. So wood shop and design, and then family and consumer science 1 and 2. When we get into Crossroads, their pathways and course offerings are primarily focused around business and marketing and family health and sciences. You can see financial fitness up there. We have financial fitness in both of our high schools, which are very popular programs and well received by students. That is an area that we find great value for preparing students for the real world. So you can kind of see here how Crossroads has focused down to 2, again, strengthening those pathways. At Granite Falls High School, you can see we are focused in business and marketing. Skilled and technical has what you would expect: core construction, intro to CAD. There's also a multimedia class in there, and theater is in skilled and technical. We have family and consumer sciences, agriculture, and health sciences and biomed. We have and will continue to make progress in strengthening pathways for making sure that we don't have outlier classes, making sure every class is connected. One thing you didn't see up there for Crossroads and the high school is we do have a worksite learning class as well that allows students to complete their CTE pathway by connecting real world work to their classroom experiences. So that's a really great thing for a student to be able to use that to complete their requirements for graduation as they're getting out into the workforce and participating and getting credit for it as they go as well. Dual credit. Dual credit is in progress. Dual credit can be a little mixed up based on which organizations we're talking to and how we articulate classes. This is kind of the current state of things. This changes every year, and we look at this every year. So our goal with dual credit and articulations is that we're always trying to find ways to see if we can take a class that a student is already taking and give them not only high school credit, but college credit as well. That's a continual process. The teachers are involved in that. Teachers are articulating that from their class. If we can find a match between what we offer and what is offered at a local community college and they partner with us, we can expand those articulations. We can get kids more opportunities. The goal is to do this responsibly, with integrity, adding dual credit and articulations that truly match up between what students take, to make sure that we're doing that above board. So you can kind of see those options there, again, in progress. The WASA recommendations, and these were kind of, I presented last time, I think, for an hour to you guys. I'm not going to present for an hour tonight. The big view of the WASA report, these are kind of where we had our primary recommendations. First one was hire a part-time CTE coordinator, which has been completed, which I'm very thankful for. I'm having a great year so far. I know it's only been 2 weeks, but so far so good. The next one was to submit OSPI course approvals on time. We have strict requirements when we submit. That's an ongoing process that keeps us forward focused, because right now we're thinking about stuff we want to change for second semester, but we're also thinking about what we want to add for the 26-27 school year, so we can get out in front of writing frameworks and getting industry approval and getting committee approval on those. So we're thinking ahead, planning for the future. Analyze staffing and enrollment. We need to constantly be looking at which classes are doing well with students in seats that students want to be a part of, which ones have wait lists, which ones can we not keep kids out of, and where are we seeing a softening of interest, because that matters as well for how we plan. We don't want to be running courses with 12 kids in it. We need classes with students in program areas that are of interest to students and also of benefit to them in career choices in the future. The next one there was convene advisory committees for future planning. Our natural calendar for that is October. We're convening our general advisory committee in October and our single program advisories as well. So working with industry partners to look at what we do and how we do it, getting feedback on what we do and how we do it, and giving a stamp of approval for the things that we are changing and adding in our course offerings and our program offerings. Next one there was to launch and expand high demand and high interest courses and pathways. This is ongoing. This year we expanded construction to a full-time teacher position, and we're able to expand our health sciences by a class at the high school. So that's a slow progression. My goal with this as we look is that we are making small adjustments every year, looking at trends, looking at workforce data in the Snohomish County region, and basing our projections on that so that we are making small adjustments as we go. Next one was monitoring certification of CTE teachers. This was ongoing. We have one teacher currently still on a conditional CTE certificate, which will be finishing by the end of the year. So at the end of the year, all of our teachers will be on initial CTE certifications in their industry area. Expanding articulated and dual credit offerings is ongoing, which we talked about. And the last one there was to regular report on budget and enrollment status. This is ongoing. We're developing regular meetings with the business office to monitor expenses and enrollment monthly and ensure the financial stability of our programs. That way we're looking at it every month and we're not getting to the end of the year with a surprise that CTE spent too much money. So we're working on that a little bit every month. Marshall's very excited about that. He told me yesterday how excited he was that he gets to meet with me every month. In conclusion, we're working to improve the health of our programs across all buildings, and from a bigger perspective, K through 12. When a kindergartner steps into our schools, what type of exposure do they get to this type of content as they age across all buildings? This is the goal. We're working to apply and implement WASA recommendations, the good stuff, the easy stuff, and the really challenging stuff as well. At the end of this, I'm very optimistic that when I come back later in the year, we'll be able to see some progress in CTE and be able to kind of measure growth in some of these areas. So that's all I got. Question.
So Mountain Way Woodshop is coming.
Mountain Way Woodshop. Funny you would say that. They do have a STEAM class where they have done hammers, and we have supported those programs.
You do actually have the cool little cardboard routers.
Yes.
Those are actually really.
You would
really
be
cool.
maybe not surprised to look at my Amazon wish list for purchase this year.
Okay.
Amazon cardboard routers and cardboard.
Yeah. That would be great.
So,
Is there a way to maybe reach out to local partners on some of the CTE classes, like financial fitness, to ensure that we are maybe being responsive?
what I would say to anyone in attendance, if you feel that this is an area where you have industry experience, we're always looking for advisory members to join our advisory boards, which help influence what we do and how we do it. So just to anybody who would be.
Can you commit as the CTE director, the coordinator? Sorry, that you will be responsive to anyone looking to partner?
Certainly, I walk by many industry places every day.
Located next to the Buzz?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, all the time. So I'm around.
Okay, all right.
You'd almost think this was set up.
Just happenstance.
Any other questions, comments, anything?
No,
All right. Well, thank you very much.
thank you.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, so we need to, actually, I will move that we approve the CTE plan. Let's see, reviewed and required policy 2170 by Josh Van Jensen, CTE coordinator.
I will second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Moving on to item 8, consent agenda. Any additions that are? Okay. Any discussion? Okay. And consent agenda passes by unanimous consent. And with that, it is 7:06, and this ends the Granite Falls board meeting. Thank you.
And I'll hang too if there's anybody that wants to talk, by the way.